RC here, and today we will be going over the question about the image of Jesus being upon the cross at crucifixion, and whether or not if it's worshipping it that we are doing. Is it idolatry? Well, let's find out. So we've all seen this image of Jesus being on a cross crucified. Some kiss the feet of it, others worship and directly look at it. It all depends really on the church that you go to. As for my church, we simply have it as a decoration. We don't worship it or venerate the thing itself. Now, however, though, it is idolatry to worship the thing itself. After all, the statue or icon didn't save you, but it represents an act of salvation in which Christ went to the cross to pay the atonement on our behalf, so it's merely a symbol of Christ's work and glory. You may be asking yourself, wait, is that seriously it? Then the end of the video, right? But no, we should at least then answer some possible follow-ups like, why even have these symbols in the churches or homes? Why wear it around the necklace? People need to understand that for some people, just having a physical representation of a symbol doesn't automatically mean that we worship it. The purpose of using these should not be to be used of worship, but rather we are simply to go to God for that, for worship. And we don't need idols. The Bible considers making images of things in heaven and on earth as an idol, a graven image. And this is exactly what is mentioned in the 10 Commandments. So we must do our best to avoid that. John chapter 4 verse 24 says, God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. So, do that. Worship in spirit. We don't need these incense or these necklaces to worship Jesus Christ, to worship God. We affirm God is triune, and we don't need to see Jesus, God manifested in the flesh, on a statue or a wooden display or a necklace to worship him. However, instead, you could probably choose to use these depictions for jewelry or statues or accessories within your home, or even decorations that have a logo maybe on your t-shirt in terms of that, so with a Bible verse that goes with it as well. Whichever you want to do to spread the gospel or share your devotion to Christ in a meaningful way, do it as you wish. But then you may ask yourself, why this symbol when it is referring to a painful, obvious moment in the life of Jesus Christ? Well, as I said earlier, it's referring not just a painful moment, but a moment in which the prophecy was fulfilled. What prophecy? Well, if you want a basic understanding of this, check out Psalm 22 and just read the entire psalm, and you'll see the scene of the crucifixion is evidence of the fulfillment of Old Testament prophecies. The cross itself is a usage of a symbol of an instrument used to kill and torture people during the Roman time around Christ. But we give it a special meaning because some people use symbols of many kinds today that seem strange, but it's about the meaning behind it that they apply. And according to the Bible, this scene was a moment where God's wrath was poured out and satisfied fully, so that through Christ, sinners have been made right with God and can be seen as righteous before a holy and just God. Matthew chapter 26 verse 28 says, "For this is my blood of the new covenant," or the New Testament for the King James, "which is shed for the many of the remission of sins." Then you have Hebrews chapter 12 verse 2 that says, quote, "Looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who is for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and set it down at the right hand of the throne of God." And finally, Colossians chapter 2 verse 14 says, "Blotting out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us," referring to like a legal declaration, "which was contrary to us, and took it out of the way, nailing it to the cross." So when it comes to having a crucifixion cross in the church, or even when we're wearing it, unless you worship it directly, it's not idolatry. Just view it as an accessory that expresses your faith. And as for the imagery itself, keep in mind what it stands for. Yes, it was a sad moment for his followers, but they also knew what he meant and were happy to see that he was resurrected. And it was to them that Christ told them to preach the message of Christ crucified. And to this day, not only did the message carry out, but we to this day still carry out that message of Christ crucified. This has been RC Apologist. Have a good day.